Today I am bringing you 52 tips and tricks to help you win your next game of Barony. Let's get straight into it. A blessed scroll of summon will either spawn you the Zap Brigade or 4 demon allies, making it probably one of the most overpowered items in the game. You can shoot through lowered gates, meaning you can hit enemies while they can't hit you. Except the green slimes, they can still spray you through the gate. Drinking from fountains can yield various effects, including blessing your equipment. While the beneficial outcomes are rare, they can provide a significant advantage, so consider the risk-reward balance. You can unequip all your armor and leave on only the piece you want to bless when drinking from a fountain or using a scroll to target a specific item. Holding your attack until your arm shakes performs a power attack, inflicting additional damage. Combine this with sneak attacks from behind for maximum effect. Even if a chest is behind a lowered gate, you can still access its content. Position yourself correctly to interact with the chest without opening the gate. This also applies to picking up dropped items. Cursed food may make you sick more often, but it is not always harmful. So when you are in a pickle, it may save your life to risk it for the biscuit. Never discard your random stabs, not even the cursed ones. Always fire them until they are used up, cause they are free XP and it levels your magic and casting regardless of your class. If your enemy is unaware of your presence when you attack, you will land a critical strike. Identify everything. Identify everything you can in the early game, no matter how useless, because that way you can quickly get your appraisal to level 100 and earn some extra EXP in the process. Stealth is useful for everyone, to either sneak around or surprise attack your enemies. Use the spacebar to sneak and make sure there are no torches or other light sources nearby. In the early game, try to find the light and the force bolt spell. Spam the light spell until you get a message you cannot level up your casting and magic from using it anymore, and then start spamming the force bolt spell to max out your magic and casting skills. Potions can be equipped and thrown at enemies to inflict various effects. Olympic Swim Amulet let you swim faster. Swimming faster equals more EXP, so use this to level up your swimming skill faster. To remove cursed items, do the following. For weapons and stabs, you can just use them until they break. For armor, remove all your good armor and then use a scroll of destroy armor to remove the cursed piece, or simply use a scroll of remove curse to remove the curse. Weapons and armor degrade over time. Keep an eye on their condition by checking their name and replace or repair them to avoid being caught unprepared. The minimap provides valuable information about your surroundings. Use it to navigate and locate points of interest. You can also zoom in on the minimap with the key above the tab key. And if you have a ring of warning, you can see enemies before you actually see them. You can also press the M key to open up the map view and then click on it to ping your allies about your whereabouts. You can drop items by shift left clicking them and shift right click to appraise them. A skilled Barony player knows how the skills and the attribute system works, so make sure to check out the guides to those on my channel. You run faster forwards than you do backwards, so don't look back. The Minotaur will spawn in after 3.5 minutes when you start the stage. If Barony is too difficult under settings and game, you can turn off aspects of Barony. Water escape. Most enemies won't follow you into the water, and the same goes for levitation. Just be careful about the blue slimes and the Minotaur. They do follow you into the deep waters. Throwing daggers and tomahawks never break, making them reliable ranged options. However, be cautious not to throw them into pits, as they will be lost. Spell tomes can be shared among players, provided each has the ability to learn the spell. This is particularly useful in cooperative play, allowing team members to share their magical abilities. Much like in real life, trolls have limited intelligence and can forget your presence if you stand in the darkness and sneak for a few seconds, allowing for repeated backstabs. Shopkeepers can be killed if friendly fire is on, however they are extremely strong. When defeated, they drop half their inventory and a decent sum of gold. Boulders broken by the Sokoban puzzles or by hitting a player may drop luck stones. These stones reduce your carried weight by 20 pounds, making them a valuable asset. Practice combat timing. For classes like the monk, adopting a hit and block rhythm can effectively neutralize enemy attacks. Strike once, block the counter attack, and repeat to maintain control in combat. Polymorph will turn you into a random monster if you use it as a human, but it will always turn you into a human if you use it as a monster, so keep that in mind when you're trying to trade with shopkeepers. AFK in the water to increase swimming skill, but avoid doing this when the Minotaur might appear, and be careful of the new blue slimes that spawn in the water. Dim the lights. Removing light sources like taking out the torches on the walls and killing your friend will decrease the chance that enemies notice you. Strategize polymorph use. Transforming into a human allows non-human characters to shop and recruit allies who stay friendly post-reversion. The Minotaur is one scary ass mofo, so exploit his weaknesses. Use traps and spells like slow or cold to slow and kite the Minotaur effectively. Gain trading skill by buying and reselling cheap items, even if it's at a small loss. Every skill you level up in Barony will increase your character EXP as well, so be sure to use those stabs, drink those potions, trade with those bobs, and swim to get more EXP. Each enemy in Barony has their own strengths and weaknesses. For example, skeletons are weaker to blunt weapon. They take 40% extra damage from maces and 30% from polearm, but minus 50% from swords and ranged attack. You can see each enemy's weaknesses and strengths in the compendium, which you can open by pressing the P key. There is also information about bosses, levels and items in there. Be cautious in Sand Labyrinth. Sand Labyrinth levels often lack abundant food supplies. Ensure you have enough provisions before entering these areas to avoid starvation. There is a decent chance that you will encounter some mini-bosses in your playthroughs. These mini-bosses will drop rare artifact weapons when killed, and you can also obtain a full set of artifact armor in the secret levels, to make sure your equipment never breaks. Check out our artifact guide to learn more. There are multiple Easter eggs in Barony. For example, in the Gnomish mines you can find a Minecraft pickaxe. Prioritize early objectives. At the start of a new game, focus on gathering essential items and avoiding unnecessary confrontations. Explore thoroughly to collect resources that will aid in your survival. You can practice this especially well on the Wanderer class by playing like a You can lockpick the arrow traps to disarm them and get free ammo. Before engaging bosses like the Baphomet or Baron Herx, ensure you have appropriate gear, such as magic resistance and levitation. Proper preparation can significantly increase your chances of success. Blessed scrolls enchant or repair your armor twice. At the beginning of each game, scrolls are labeled in some unknown language, requiring the player to first identify the scroll to see its intended effects. This naming system is consistent within the player's designated game seed, meaning one scroll of a certain name will always correspond to that scroll type. This is especially helpful for use of the enchanted feather item, where the player inscribes this unknown language onto blank scrolls for that name's intended effect. A secondary usage for enchanted feathers is that they can spend some of their charge to repair spellbooks if they are degraded. Lockpicks also have the niche ability to interact with automatons, where backstabbing one will result in two different results, based on the chance, which is determined by the player's current tinkering level. If the player fails to lockpick the automaton, a locked gear will break loose and the automaton will become hostile towards the player, becoming exceptionally more sturdy and damaging. If the player does successfully lockpick the automaton, its gears will seize up, causing it to stop in its tracks and automatically begin its self-destruct sequence. There is a setting to turn on assist shrine items in the new version of Barony. This allows players to acquire 4 powerful assist items via the assist shrine on level 1. Lockpicks can be used to change the setting of traps, so it will trigger with every entity regardless of if it's an enemy or an ally. You can automatically sort your inventory by pressing the R key. You can also change how it sorts them in the setting. Barony uses a seed generation system, meaning if you enter a seed into the seed box when creating a world, you can always get the same one. So, if you still can't seem to win in Barony after all these tips and tricks, use the world seed Dick, so you can get a powerful level 20 human ally on the very first floor.